Alright, my daughter isn't asleep yet, and she's sitting right by the computer in her little bouncer chair, so bear with me if there's some baby ad-lib. Okay, so Scorpio risings have a Taurus descendant. If you don't know what the descendant is, go ahead and check the video description, and I'll have a link where I explain it, and also where you can find where that is in your chart. Who do I know who has a Scorpio ascendant? My mom, for one. And I know a lot of Scorpio risings aside from her. Alright, so you guys, you think that other people are really chill, they're really stubborn, they're not changing, they're avoiding the problems that are going on. At work, when you get your lunch break, you might go to sit down at the table and you see all these people sitting around, like, enjoying their meals, stuffing their faces, eating, like, chips or whatever. And you're just like, these people, they're enjoying themselves too much. They're too happy. So I'm just gonna ask Susan how her divorce is going. You really bring up bad stuff when other people don't want to hear it. And that's probably why you bring it up, because you're thinking, okay, there's this issue, and we all need to face it, we all need to talk about it. But are you always being honest about your own issues? Are you always talking about and confronting your own issues and trying to be honest with yourself and change? I know you want to be someone who's changing, but the thing is, Scorpio is a fixed sign, just like Taurus is, and fixed signs don't change. Your job is to be transformation. Your job is to dig into the problems, bring them out into the daylight, and change them. You really know that. That's how you feel. That's what you feel you're supposed to do. But a lot of times you ignore that very stubborn side of you that is resisting change. Believe it or not, there is a part of you that is in your comfort zone and wanting to stay there. And also because you think other people are just enjoying food so much and just like eating too much or whatever, you have this weird sadistic relationship with food. You have a very unhealthy relationship with food. You might come home and just like stuff your face with cookies and then be like, okay, I'm not going to eat for the rest of the week. You might come home and be like, oh, I had a stressful day, I'm going to eat cheeseburgers until I make myself sick, and then you're going to run for 5 hours on your treadmill. You think that you have to punish yourself when you eat. And if it sounds like I hate Scorpio risings, I don't. I just hate watching people torture themselves. And you deliberately put yourself in bad situations because you think you can't just be too comfortable in life. Maybe when you were young, you saw something that stayed the same throughout your life and never changed, no matter how bad it was. So you think that life is supposed to be difficult, life is supposed to be bad. You think people are supposed to hurt each other. It's like, oh, I keep getting involved with abusive people, but isn't that just the way it's supposed to be? And as Scorpio risings, you can really pierce through people's soul. You can see the bad side of them. And sometimes the bad side is what you focus in on. Sometimes it's what you end up being attracted to. Your partner is represented by the sign Taurus, and you pick the bad traits of Taurus a lot of times. You pick someone who is very controlling. You might end up being in a relationship with someone who is like a dictator, or someone who is incredibly lazy. You're content being with someone who sits on the couch and eats and never changes who they are. And then you feel like you're the one who's going to put yourself through all the bad parts of life. I think a lot of times, since you expect other people to be so stubborn, you will be the first person to say, I'm sorry, and a lot of times you end up with someone who never says they're sorry. When you're in a fight with someone and someone's mad at you or you're mad at someone, you're going to be very stubborn. You're going to be like a cow in the middle of the road. You're going to stand in the way, you're not going to move. You're going to have some kind of test of wills, like, oh, I'm not going to say anything to you, just something like that, something where you're really exercising being stubborn. You feel like you have to show everyone how deep you are and show them that you're not afraid of their issues, that you're going to deal with their issues with them. And you might notice a lot of times that people just don't want to talk about it. You think that other people are protecting themselves. Other people are being very guarded, so you need to be guarded too. You need to always keep your guard up. You feel vulnerable, and you don't want to feel vulnerable, so you put off this intimidating air. When you're feeling guarded around someone you don't know very well, you might want to seem like you're more rich than you actually are. Like, oh, I'm just living a life of luxury like everyone else. You think that other people really enjoy touch, so you want to show and understand the deeper side of sexuality. You want to be sexual in a way that goes beyond touch. So I think you're always going to be trying to express being sexual in some kind of weird way. It really varies a lot, but for some of you, you just blurt out like weird, awkward sexual things. Some of you like to talk about sex, some of you like to do artistic sexual things. You're just always trying to make sex mean more than what happens in the bedroom. You think other people are just always dressing the same way and trying to wear, nice clothing. A lot of times you might feel like you need to do something different with your appearance, but you don't know what to do, so you feel kind of awkward about it. You don't want to be someone who spends a lot of money on clothes. You want to avoid being materialistic. You never want to seem promiscuous, though. Even if you are really, really promiscuous and you've slept with everyone in town, you want to seem like you're really intimate. You're really a one-woman kind of guy or a one-man kind of woman. And some of you really are a faithful person who's, really only ever loved one person. But some of you aren't. I mean, it's not necessarily one way or the other. You just want sex to be a special thing. You expect yourself to really be devoted to relationships. And then sometimes if you're not, you can kind of deny that side of yourself that does want to sleep around. Cheating is not something you hold in high regards. You do not think highly of cheating. And those of you who do cheat, I think you kind of hate yourselves for it. I know you can't admit it, but you might kind of avoid admitting it. Sometimes you feel like you just can't let people know who you really are. It's kind of hard for you to put yourself in life for the long run. You might do things that are very reckless and that won't last in your life and won't benefit you in the long run. And I think you always know that you're doing it, but the thing is that you want to be doing it.